I thought those were discontinued.
They were. I had to order them through some Mexican back channels.
It's crazy to think of how many amazing food items have been discontinued over the years. If a genie were to grant us 3 wishes, we would definitely use at least one of them to bring back one of our long-lost favorites. The issue would be choosing which one. Let's head back down memory lane for the top 10 discontinued foods we miss. Eggo's Banana Bread Waffles.
Hey, Lego my Eggo.
Stranger Things 11 would be heartbroken to hear about this particular discontinuation. Sure, the show usually depicts her eating the original Eggos, but she would likely sympathize with those of us who were broken up over this loss. While they're no Belgian waffle, Eggos can still satisfy any waffle craving whenever it might hit you. A couple minutes in the toaster and voila!
Breakfast is served.
Or lunch, or dinner, we are not here to judge. While the original variety of Eggos are initially what stole our hearts, we have a definite soft spot for their banana bread waffles as well. These Eggos looked very similar to the originals, but their flavor was different. Their name compared them to banana bread, but these Eggos were probably more similar to banana pancakes. While Eggo's banana bread waffles were never technically discontinued, they were progressively phased out until it was impossible to find them anywhere. Coke Blak.
Why I gotta be black?
Soft drinks are generally packed with caffeine, and this Coca-Cola product really embraced that. Catering to coffee addicts and soft drink fans alike, Coke Blak was a coffee-flavored soda. This soda had several international releases before finally hitting shelves in the United States. Its place of origin is actually France. Being coffee-flavored, it might actually pair well with a croissant. That actually broaches a whole other conversation. If this soda is coffee-flavored, is it acceptable to drink it in the AM? Soft drinks for breakfast are typically a big no-no, but is Coke Blak the exception to the rule?
Well, there's exceptions to every rule.
Sold from 2006 to 2008, Coke Blak came in a resealable container shaped like the original Coke bottles. Interestingly enough, its taste seemed to vary from country to country. America's version was reportedly much sweeter and had less of a caffeine taste than the French iteration, which was more comparable to a cup of coffee. If you're sad that you missed out on this soda, we've got some good news for you. No, Coke Blak isn't making a comeback. However, Coca-Cola has several coffee-flavored sodas in the works. Pac-Man Cereal.
Pac-Man. Boom, that's my jam.
The Pac-Man arcade game was released in 1980 and, as you likely already know, took the world by storm. With every great cultural phenomenon comes a new cereal to capitalize off its success. Pac-Man Cereal made its debut in 1983, 3 years after the game's introduction. There were 2 components to this cereal, the corn pieces and the marshmallow pieces. The crunchy corn pieces were puffed into spheres, and the marshmallows came in the shapes of Pac-Man and the ghosts, Pinky, Blinky, Inky, and Clyde. Miss Pac-Man marshmallows were added to later versions of the cereal, her pieces being white with a bright pink bow. This cereal came with a variety of premiums. Some boxes came with 5-piece packs of rainbow color Bubbles bubblegum, which were spherical pieces of bubblegum that came in 5 different flavors. It was very stereotypically 80s.
That's so 80s!
Additionally, many boxes had order forms for things like a Pac-Man watch, a Ghost Chomper hat, a Pac-Man bowl, a Pac-Man ring, and a neon camera. There were even the details for how to enter a competition to win a full-size Pac-Man arcade game. Despite its popularity, Pac-Man Cereal was discontinued in 1988. It made a brief special edition re-release in 2018. This version of the cereal came with a mini Pac-Man Funko Pop. While that was cool, the cereal itself couldn't have been less like the original. It was lemon-flavored, and the marshmallows had disappeared altogether.
Poof.
Fruit Corners Fruit Bars.
It's the ugliest goodie I ever had.
Fruit Corners did eventually come out with fruit roll-ups, but before that game-changing development, there were fruit bars. These thin, rectangular bars of jellied fruit didn't look appealing in the slightest. At least the marketing was self-aware. The fruit bar's slogan was, "Made from real fruit so your taste buds shout."
Look so ugly, gonna knock you out.
Popular in the mid-80s, fruit bars came in a variety of fruit flavors. Even though these snacks somehow managed to look both extremely dry yummy and disgustingly slimy at the same time, they actually tasted pretty great. They delivered on their promise of natural fruit flavors, making fruit bars the perfect afternoon snack. So why did these yummy, well-loved snacks get discontinued? It was all thanks to the release of fruit roll-ups. Sure, fruit bars were good, but fruit roll-ups were unbeatable. It didn't make sense for fruit corners to keep producing fruit bars when their fruit roll-ups were just raking in the cash. It's a tale as old as time. The new, exciting food item comes in and wipes out the old, once-loved one. Carnation breakfast bars.
I want a breakfast bar.
From 1975 to 1993, people everywhere started their day with a Carnation breakfast bar. Paired with a glass of milk, it made for the perfect breakfast, especially if you were a bit of a sweet tooth. Yes, they were coated with chocolate, but the bars themselves contained enough nutrients for them to pass as a breakfast food. These were essentially the precursor to the energy bars that are so popular today, but they were just better in every way.
I'm better than you.
Plus, the sheer number of flavors available meant that they could appeal to almost everyone. To say that Carnation breakfast bars have a large fan base would be an understatement. This is one of the discontinued food items with the greatest demand for its return. Even though it was discontinued nearly 30 years ago, people continue to bombard Carnation with requests that they bring back this classic breakfast food. Other fans seem to have accepted that this food item probably won't be returning anytime soon, so instead of petitioning, they've decided to dedicate their time to trying to recreate the recipe. Jell-O 1, 2, 3.
For dessert, we're having Jell-O 1, 2, 3.
It's a shame that Jell-O 1, 2, 3 was discontinued before the creation of Instagram. Regular Jell-O isn't much to look at, but Jell-O 1, 2, 3 was basically gourmet. This dessert was around from 1969 to 1996, with its discontinuation being the result of the waning interest in Jell-O products that began in the mid to late 80s. It came in the same powder form as regular Jell-O, but when it was properly prepared, the mix separated into 3 layers. Layer 1 at the top was creamy, while layer 2 in the middle was mousse-like, and layer 3 at the bottom was the same old Jell-O we all know and love.
Why does he want Jell-O? Because he's comfortable with Jell-O.
To make certain that the layers would separate properly, you had to be meticulous in your preparation. First, you poured the powder into a blender and added boiling water. For 30 seconds, you were supposed to blend the mixture at the lowest speed. Then you immediately jumped straight from the lowest speed to the highest, which was applied for 1 minute. The following step was to pour in a cup of ice water. Finally, you were to blend your concoction at the highest speed for another minute. The mixture could then be poured into dessert glasses, which, after they'd been allowed to sit for a minute or two, could be transferred into the fridge for 3 hours. That's a lot of effort, and from the sounds of it, many didn't find it to be worthwhile. While it was nice to look at, Jell-O 1, 2, 3 had some pretty mixed reviews. Some people look back on it fondly, while others shudder at its very mention. Uh-oh, Oreo.
Uh-oh.
Many Oreo products have come and gone since the cookie's initial introduction in 1912. One of the saddest losses was the Uh-Oh Oreo. If you never heard of these before and are having trouble inferring what they could possibly be, don't worry. The name doesn't really give anything away. It's so cryptic that it might actually scare away potential customers. It sounds like it would be unnecessarily messy or cause food poisoning or something.
That sounds gross.
In actuality, the uh-oh is jokingly implying that something went wrong in the preparation of these Oreos. Everyone's familiar with the traditional Oreo, 2 chocolate cookies with a vanilla cream filling. Uh-oh Oreos take that concept and turn it upside down. It has 2 vanilla cookies with a chocolate cream filling. Basically, it's the opposite of the original Oreo. Ironically, one of the taglines on this product's packaging was, "Oreo's greatest tasting goof is here to stay." Since Uh-Oh Oreo made this list of discontinued food items, you can probably infer that that was a blatant lie.
Liar!
This cookie was both released and discontinued in the early 2000s. Thankfully, there are so many other varieties of Oreo out there that getting over the loss of this flavor was much easier than it could have been. Fruitopia Drink.
I wanted to see your utopia, but now I see it as more of a Fruitopia.
Before you get all riled up about the fact that you had Fruitopia last week, hear us out. This famous fruit juice is still available in Canada and Australia, but has been discontinued in the United States since 2003. Minute Maid, the biggest juice brand in the world, is largely to blame for the downfall of Fruitopia. The juice game was a competitive one, and Fruitopia couldn't handle the pressure. However, even though the drink is discontinued, there's still a silver lining. Minute Maid absorbed a few lucky Fruitopia flavors and made them its own, which is allowed because both brands are owned by Coca-Cola. Furthermore, while Fruitopia can't be bought in stores like it was in the 90s, some American McDonald's locations continue to carry the beverage in their fountain machines to this day. Woohoo! Introduced in 1994, Fruitopia was known for its sweet, fruity flavors, with Strawberry Passion Awareness being its most popular. While other juice brands like Snapple were marketed in more conventional ways, Fruitopia deviated from the norm. Its commercials were more hippy-dippy than usual. The peace and love vibe of the advertisement was completed with the phrase, "If your mouth can't say something nice, put something nice in it." Ice cream cone cereal.
Mom says I can have ice cream for breakfast.
Everything about this cereal was great. From the way it looked to the way it tasted, it was arguably one of the best cereals ever created. Unfortunately, its run was so short that it barely had time to make an impression. It was both released and discontinued in the year 1987, which wins the prize for most quickly discontinued food item on this list.
My deepest thanks to the Academy.
There were two different kinds of pieces. One was shaped like miniature ice cream cones, and the other shaped to look like tiny scoops of ice cream. The pieces were perfectly sized to fit together, so you could actually place the ice cream pieces into the cones. While the ice cream pieces didn't really taste like anything but sugar, the ice cream cone pieces tasted just like the real thing. Optimally, you'd get both kinds of pieces in each mouthful. That way, you were sure to get the full flavor experience. This cereal had an animated mascot named Ice Cream Jones.
My name's Ice Cream Jones,
who was an ice cream delivery man. However, instead of selling ice cream out of an ice cream truck, he made his sales from his bicycle. 2003 was the 100th anniversary of the ice cream cone, so to celebrate this special occasion, ice cream cone cereal was brought back for a limited re-release. Only the chocolate chip flavor made a comeback, and unfortunately, Ice Cream Jones was nowhere to be seen. But we're not complaining, because it's not every day that your favorite cereal comes back from the dead. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles McCain Pizza. From the comic books to the TV show to the action figures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were a hit in the late 80s to early 90s. As weird as the concept of 4 crime-fighting teenage turtles named after Italian Renaissance artists is, kids everywhere were obsessed. Like any successful franchise, TMNT inspired the creation of many different food items. One of our favorites was the TMNT McCain frozen pizza. Since pizza is the turtles' food of choice, the creation of a TMNT pizza was an obvious play. These frozen pizzas were small enough that one person could easily eat the entire thing in a single sitting.
I don't know what it is, but I'd like to eat the whole thing.
They came in several different flavors, most of which were rather unusual. There was extra cheese, which is perfectly normal, but there were also sausage and egg, chocolate and marshmallow, ham and tomato, apple crumble, and bacon and beans, among others. These unorthodox pizza varieties will appeal to true TMNT fans, as Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Leonardo love to get creative with their pizza toppings. However, they are turtles after all, so we're not entirely sure how much people should be emulating their dietary habits. Take another bite out of one of our other great videos and tap that screen. And if it's your first time here, show us some love and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join our notification squad.